Good morning. Welcome to the 2024 Recovery Summit Kickoff presentation. This morning, our presentation is by Deb Jensen, CEO of St. Clair County Community Mental Health, Sherry Jessup, SUD Services Supervisor, and Victor Polito, Peer Support Specialist. Our presentation today will cover community mental health and substance use disorder services available at Community Mental Health. And presenting first is Deb Jensen. Welcome, Deb.
Thank you, Christy. St. Clair County Community Mental Health provides comprehensive behavioral health services and supports for adults with mental illness, children with serious emotional disturbances, adults and children with substance use disorder, and adults and children with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Our services are person and family centered, trauma informed, recovery orientated, and we have a focus on integrated healthcare. We offer a full range of psychiatric services and individual counseling and therapy, and we currently utilize over 28 either evidence-based or promising practices, several of which are specific to treating substance use disorders. Sherry Jessup, one of our SUD supervisors, will discuss those in more detail later in this presentation. CMH is also a certified behavioral community health clinic, which is also known as a CCBHC. We love acronyms in our world. As a CCBHC, we are responsible to provide 9 comprehensive services, which include screening, assessment, and diagnosis, person-centered treatment planning, outpatient mental health and substance use treatment services, 24-hour crisis stabilization services, peer support, psychiatric rehabilitation services, targeted case management, primary health screening and monitoring, and services to our armed forces and veterans. We treat mental health conditions and substance use disorders regardless of an individual's insurance status or their ability to pay. And our services are open to anyone in the community who have a mild or moderate mental health or substance use disorder, and they can have public insurance, Medicaid, things like that, or private insurance or no insurance. So one of the great things about being a CCBHC is it has helped to increase access and open up access for many more people in our community. I want to talk a little bit about our mobile crisis unit. Our mobile crisis unit provides crisis support to anyone in our community. They are open and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All you need to do is call that number 888. 810. I'm so used to saying the access number, 810-966-2575. And one of our staff, trained staff, will answer that phone 24/7. So again, they provide the support either by phone or in person. If you need a face-to-face, they will be out to see you face-to-face. And if not, if they can help you over the phone, they do that. Again, I mentioned that they are trained mental health clinicians and other trained staff. And our goal is to preserve the health and safety of individuals and to de-escalate any immediate crisis situations. Also, it's our hope that through accessing our mobile crisis unit, it can often prevent an unnecessary hospitalization or law enforcement intervention. And sorry, I had to catch up the screens. And anyways, so if ever you need, if you think you're in crisis or somebody you know or love is in crisis, don't hesitate to call our access. Again, it's 810-966-2575. And you just heard me mention the access number, which is 888-225-4447. And that number is also available 24/7. And that is how you access our services. You call that number and the staff there will do a brief screening and assessment to determine if you're eligible. But as I mentioned earlier, through the CCBHC, most people are eligible for our services as long as they have at least a mild to moderate mental health condition or substance use. Again, if needed, the access system could provide referrals for other services in our community. They offer licensed clinicians to provide some immediate support when that's needed as well. So let's see. We are also located throughout St. Clair County. Our services have grown tremendously in the last several years, really since becoming a CCBHC. We've grown from, our staff has almost doubled. We have almost 500 employees at this point, and they are housed all over St. Clair County. And the current screen shows you, we have a child and family services building located on 24th Street in Port Huron. We have our main building here at 3111 Electric Avenue. And we have two buildings in Marine City. One is located on King Road and the other one is downtown on Broadway Street. And then we have a building in Cape Pac, and you can see that there. So as I mentioned, we do continue to grow, and we have a lot of services to offer. So please don't hesitate to call, get in here for services if you need them. And now I would like to introduce Sherry Jessup, who is our supervisor for our substance use disorder, or called SUD services. So welcome, Sherry.
Let me see where I'm at. Okay. Hello, everyone. I am Adrian. Will you help me? It went too far. How do I go back? I'm just ahead on slides here. I am Sherry Jessup, for any of you that work here that don't know who I am. And I am the supervisor of the substance use disorder program here at CMH. We offer a lot of substance use disorder programs, co-occurring programs. So we work with individuals who have dual diagnosis. We also will call that co-occurring, so they have mental health and substance use disorder diagnosis. We also work with individuals who just have substance use disorders. So some of these services can include crisis support. So remember, Deb had mentioned the mobile crisis unit, and they will help people who also are not in services. So if there's ever anybody in a crisis in the community, go ahead and call them. Their number is 810-966-2575. We offer a lot of evidence-based practices, which I'm going to be covering shortly, and medication-assisted treatment, individual therapy services. We have certified recovery coaches that work with people. And we also have certified peer support services. We offer multiple groups for people with substance use disorders or co-occurring disorders, which include relapse prevention groups. And then we offer recovery court. Evidence-based practices that are used in our programs help individuals address the issues that may be underlying some of those substance use disorders. They can also help individuals develop coping skills, process trauma, help them begin their recovery journey with the necessary tools to reach their goals. Today, we'd like to highlight just a few of the evidence-based treatments that we use at CMH to provide a better understanding of what's available in the community. Integrated dual disorder treatment. So you will hear people refer to it as IDDT. This is sort of a higher level of care. And it's endorsed by SAMHSA, which is the U.S. Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. This is for individuals who have been diagnosed with severe mental illness and co-occurring substance use disorder. For those of you that maybe work at CMH who aren't sure how to get people into services, or for somebody who's interested in these services, if you already have a case manager, they would do a case consultation with the team. And they offer services at both the Port Huron location and the Marine City location. If you're from another agency or you're getting services elsewhere, you should call the Access program, which Deb had given the number to get services, and you can request those services for them. Another evidence-based treatment is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. We also refer to it as EMDR because it is a mouthful. This helps process and resolve traumatic memories that may be underlying causes of substance use behaviors. It can also help reduce cravings, triggers, and maladaptive coping mechanisms. Another evidence-based treatment is cognitive behavioral therapy, and this is very much goal-oriented, focuses on identifying and changing negative thought patterns and behaviors, helps individuals recognize and challenge thoughts that may lead to substance use, and it teaches coping strategies to manage cravings and avoid relapse triggers. Another treatment is prolonged exposure therapy. Oh, sorry, I didn't move ahead. it's not. Okay, I got it. Prolonged exposure therapy, which people also call PE. This is a form of cognitive behavioral therapy. It targets trauma-related avoidance behaviors that can contribute to substance use. It helps reduce anxiety and distress associated with traumatic memories, decreasing the need for substances as a coping mechanism. Then there's cognitive processing therapy, and this helps individuals challenge and modify unhelpful beliefs related to trauma. It addresses maladaptive thoughts and beliefs stemming from trauma. This also can help with reframing negative thinking patterns. So we also offer medication-assisted treatment. And this is a really nice program. This uses medication in combination with counseling and behavioral therapies to treat substance use disorders. This helps to manage withdrawal symptoms, reduces cravings, and can block the effects of substances. Supports recovery by stabilizing brain chemistry and enabling a focus on therapy and behavior changes. The benefits of medication-assisted treatment, or MAT, as some people refer to it, it increases retention in the treatment programs. It reduces the risk of relapse. It improves overall functioning and quality of life by alleviating the physical and psychological burden of addiction. As we're talking about MAT, like we have our Suboxone program, just so you're aware, there does need to be a referral. So people coming into services at CMH, they will not get that medication on the day they come in for their intake. This does take a bit of a process, and we have to refer them to the nursing services first. It's a referral for this program, for the Suboxone program. So this is in our forms index for any of you who work here who want to put in a referral. We can put it through, and the nurses will meet with the person, and they put the referral into the doctor, and then the doctor will meet with them. We also offer different forms. We have different injection forms for opioid disorders. We have injection and oral forms of medication-assisted treatment for alcohol use disorders. So this is just a brief overview of the treatment modalities used at CMH. And we work with each individual to develop a treatment plan that's tailored to them. This person-centered approach ensures that we are meeting the individual's needs and helping them achieve their goals and outcomes. Next, I'd like to introduce Victor Polito, peer support specialist, to talk more about additional supports and recovery at CMH.
Good morning. Once again, my name is Victor Polito. I am the veteran-specific peer support specialist here at CMH. I work primarily with veterans and focus on veteran-specific issues that we tend to struggle with, such as combat-related post-traumatic stress disorder and the often difficult transition from military life to civilian life. At CMH, we offer a number of supports outside of our evidence-based practices and clinical treatment, such as, well, we have our peer support specialists and our recovery coaches. Our peer support specialists are those with lived experience in recovery from mental illness and time in mental health care. Our recovery coaches are those with lived experience, again, that's one of our keywords, lived experience with recovery from substance abuse. How can these support someone in recovery? Well, we strive to demonstrate that recovery is possible. I remember once upon a time when I believed that recovery was possible for everyone, except for me. And my time in recovery showed me that it was possible for me. And I found that recovery. And now I try to show other veterans that it is also possible for them. What is unique about peer supports and recovery coaches? Again, that lived experience. We use that lived experience to share our recovery story. to help inspire and motivate those that we work with and show them that recovery is possible for them too. We also offer support groups and classes, which build that community that is important, so critical in recovery. I remember when I was coming here to community mental health, when I was getting services and I attended different groups, and the team that I was working with was so helpful to me, but it was also so important and beneficial to meet others that were in recovery and to hear their stories and to find people that I could relate to. These groups and classes provide an opportunity, like I was saying, to learn from their peers. I learned successfully from the other people that I was going to these classes with. This demonstrates that they are not alone in their struggles. I myself offer a couple groups here at Community Mental Health, 2 veteran groups. I provide one veteran group here at the main branch in Port Huron and another at the branch in Marine City. These groups bring veterans together so that they can relate to one another and their struggles and show them that, you know, the issues, a lot of the issues that they are struggling with are not specific to them, but that there are multiple veterans struggling with the same issues. We try to bring veterans together to support one another in their recovery and help them rely on one another, lean on one another. Often veterans believe that they have to face their struggles on their own and not talk about their struggles and their emotions and what they're going through. And these groups bring them together so they can struggle together and recover together. There's also several community supports in this area that we share with the people that we serve so that they can find recovery outside of community mental health, promote independence. Some of these other community supports are the NAMI Blue Water chapter. NAMI is spelled N-A-M-I. That stands for National Alliance on Mental Illness. This is a volunteer-based agency program that does so much to provide support and learning opportunities for those affected by mental illness. So it not only do they work with people that are struggling with mental illness, but also their support system, their family, because mental illness does affect everyone, not just the person going through it, but those that they care about and those that love them. So NAMI helps educate them. They offer several different classes and groups and support systems. There's even a class for veterans and their families, helping them with the transition back to civilian life. There is also the Blue Water Recovery and Outreach Center, which is at 617 10th Street in Port Huron. I myself have attended classes there. I have attended Alcoholics Anonymous there. There are so many different groups and classes that agency offers, and they have been a big part of my personal recovery and the recovery of several others in our area. Another one is Port of Hopes at 731 Griswold Street, one of the top drop-in centers in the state of Michigan. A fantastic agency that helps our individuals to focus on positivity and offers more support and helps them to enlarge their support system. When I was coming here, it was so important to me to build a support system not only of my friends and family, but others in recovery that understood what I was going through and could relate to that. And these other support systems help offer that outside of community mental health. We also strive to offer community education. As previously mentioned, community support is a powerful, powerful tool in recovery. Through education, we can build a community that's supportive of all individuals in recovery. Events like this Recovery Summit and other educational opportunities help to reduce the stigma against mental illness through education, and it helps us to break down misconceptions about mental illness and recovery. Education fosters empathy when individuals know and understand substance use disorders, treatment options, and know that recovery is possible. Our community becomes more empathetic. It is empowering. Through education, we can build upon the work of our SUD providers and help the recovery community in currently doing what they are currently doing in our community. We help to build resilience. When people are informed, they are more likely to know how to respond in a crisis. They are aware of resources and better equipped to handle challenges and help others. That's a big one. It was a big one for me, helping others. When I found my recovery from alcohol, I am a recovering alcoholic. I'm also a veteran with post-traumatic stress disorder and severe depression. It was a very important part of my recovery to help others going through similar struggles. Still is to this day and will always be an important part of my recovery, because my recovery is ongoing and it will never end. We strive to create a recovery-friendly community, creating an environment where individuals are not just surviving, but thriving. For a long period of my time in recovery, I was just getting by. But just getting by was not a way of living for me, and it's not a way of living for others. We need to thrive in our recovery. We help all community members live with dignity and hope. As I previously mentioned, recovery is a lifelong process. I personally have been sober from alcohol for over 7 years now, but that does not mean I just turn my back on my recovery and think that I am all healed. I will always be focusing on my recovery every day for the rest of my life. From my post-traumatic stress disorder, from all the issues that I have faced in my life. And we remind our individuals of that and help them to focus on this every day so that they continue to grow every day. Recovery is a personal and holistic process through which individuals achieve improvements in their health, their wellness, and their quality of life. It is not just abstaining from substance abuse. Realizing that last part was so critical to myself and is so critical to so many others. For the first few years of my sobriety from alcohol, I was struggling immensely because I was not focusing on the issues that led me to drink in the first place. I was not focusing on my post-traumatic stress disorder. I needed to focus on those issues. I needed to get help on those issues, to move out of the past, to face what led me there in the first place, before I really truly started to find recovery, before I started to find growth, before I found happiness again. I had to focus on these issues. So we addressed those underlying issues contributing to substance abuse. That was important to me. It's important to the veterans that I work with. It's important to all the people that we help here at CMH, that we find those underlying issues and we address them. We offer individualized treatment plans, which allow for individuals to have a greater or lesser level of service, depending on where they are in the recovery journey, depending on what they are comfortable with. It is important that the person helps to choose their recovery pathway, because there are so many multiple pathways available. What worked for me in my recovery is not going to work for everybody else. So we help them to find their treatment plan, their recovery path. It is so important to have natural and community supports outside of just treatment, outside of community mental health. Myself personally, I utilize my friends and family that are dear to me, but I also go to Alcoholics Anonymous, where I meet other people that have struggled with alcohol as I have and understand my issues with this disease and understand what I've gone through. That helped me support one another to find sobriety. I also rely on other veterans. We support one another with our issues that are specific to veterans. Helps us to relate to one another, helps us to support one another. So we strive to help the people that come here to find their support system, to build their support system, and to understand how important it is to utilize that support system whenever they need it. Because we do believe recovery is possible for all individuals. Like I mentioned earlier, I remember when I believed it was possible for everyone except for myself. I was too far gone, I thought. And I couldn't have been more wrong. And I know there are other veterans and other people out there that are thinking the same thing today. So we are trying to help them see that it is possible. We just need to get them to believe in that so they can find that recovery, as many of us have. Thank you very much for your time. I'm going to hand this back over to Sherry.
Sherry, before we get started, there are a few questions in the chat. I will read them off real quick for you. Are intensive SUD services offered through CMH?
They are offered, there's different levels, so it would go according to person. We have outpatient services, we have integrated dual diagnosis treatment, which is more intensive.
And then it
Yeah.
says, what are considered intensive SUD services? Does that entail only inpatient, or can outpatient services be considered intensive?
We don't necessarily provide the traditional intensive 4 days a week, all day, 4 days a week. We are more intensive, but not quite the level of intensive outpatient.
Okay.
And we can increase, so it depends on who you're with. Like, we may increase it more based on the program they're in. We also can add on groups and stuff, but it isn't the official intensive outpatient.
Okay. And then if a client is in KPAC, can they receive MAT? Excuse me. Do they have to go to Port Huron office, or do they have to go to the Port Huron office for that?
They would need to go to the Port Huron office for Suboxone, just because the doctor's here, the nurses are here, the medication's here. And we are working on trying to have that extended out to the outlying sites. They can get all other services at those sites.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any more questions?
I think that was it.
Okay. I just wanted to say thank you, Victor, because you did an amazing job, and thank you for sharing that. And in my stuff, though, I realized after I got to the back, I didn't mention much about Recovery Court, because that is another service that we provide here. And we work closely with the 72nd District Court. And so there is a whole team for the Recovery Court. So this is a little different from traditional court. It is a specialized court program focusing on rehabilitation rather than punishment. Participants receive structured support and treatment with the goal of breaking the cycle of substance use and legal issues. This is something that helps people with primarily substance use related charges. And we offer all the services for that, for the substance use services, the group, the recovery coach. We work closely with the team, with the judge, with probation. And we're very involved in it. So there's 3 different phases. Depending on the phase, there's going to be more intensive services. If anybody is interested in finding out more about that, you can even put in a referral. I believe that now they have their referral form on the court's website, so their attorney can refer them. I think people in jail have referred people, so they don't have to be open to CMH services. So I just wanted to make sure that I got that in there because it's an awesome program. We have an awesome team, and people have done really well with it, getting back to school, getting their careers back. So it's really been a great program. I would like to thank everyone for attending today. And remember, you can connect with CMH by following us on Facebook or visiting our website at SCCCMH.org. Our Recovery Summit presentations are offered all month, and you can view our calendar and register for the webinars at SCCCMH.org/Recovery Summit. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to thank all of you, Deb, Sherry, and Victor, for taking the time to be with us today, and to all of you for attending this session. We hope you found the information shared valuable. As Sherry said, there's presentations all this month, and you can view those and register by going to our website. Before we wrap up, we would greatly appreciate your feedback. A survey will pop up on your screen when the webinar ends, and we kindly ask that you take a few moments to complete it. Your input is crucial in helping us improve future events and better meet your needs. Thank you again for being here today, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.